Hi everyone, welcome to another brand new episode of Women of Community Banking podcast. Today is the Friday before all of us jump onto the long weekend, right? So all of us are possibly, probably waiting the day to almost finish up quickly. So we've spent almost more than 2 months, Emma, to get a slot in your calendar. She's really busy. But again, Emma, thank you for taking your time out to talk to us today. We really appreciate quickly introducing who Emma is. I don't think she needs one because she already wears a t-shirt of SECU. She is the Chief Learning and Development Officer at SECU, spent almost 3 decades in L&D right now. There are a few things she's really passionate about. One is how do you enable knowledge exchange? She's a lifelong learner, right? That's something very important. Followed by that, she is very, very passionate about mentoring and coaching, and hence that's the reason I mean, this trait makes her the chief L&D officer of SECU. I don't think Emma, I need to introduce you any further. It's well done. In case I've missed something, please feel free to add.
Oh, I think you hit it right on the nose, hit the nail on the head. All about people. How do we continue to help them learn, grow, and develop?
Perfect. So Emma, let's start the episode with one question that I ask everyone. So, what has been your journey so far?
So far, my journey has been one of many turns and pivots throughout my career. I will be completely transparent and say I didn't leave college thinking, oh man, I really want to go into learning and development. What happened was I started my first job and then I found my passion in the classroom doing platform training, watching the light bulb go on when the students picked up on a new concept or learned a new skill. Um, and I found that I was just as excited when I learned something from them. So every day was something new, a new adventure, a new opportunity. And I just relished in that opportunity to help them grow, not just professionally, but also personally. How do we take the skills that they need to do in their job and make those verbal? There's an impact on personal life.
Absolutely. Uh, Now, my next question would be, Emma, you being a women leader, right? I'm sure you have faced a bunch of challenges across your career, right? So this podcast is about celebrating both challenges, win as well as loss. Because I mean, I am a huge, huge fan of doing the same thing every day. Obviously, that's very important. Overcoming challenges. Talk about what are the challenges you face and how do you tackle challenges?
So I think some of the challenges that I faced are not just challenges that women in learning and development, but challenges just faced by professionals in learning
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and it's been my experience that people don't really value learning and development in the way that it should be. It is the enabler of the technology because if people don't understand how to use it, it's useless. So, um, what I find the case is that often learning development is included on the back end of people initiatives, processes, and instead of it being this immense opportunity to bring people along with, we then have to travel and provide a solution when we weren't given the proper consideration early. So I find that that's a challenge of a lot of learning and development professionals. Like they want us to do the work, but they don't really consider how much work it really is to prepare your staff to deliver the level at the service level that is expected of them. What it's going to take to really get them up to speed. But part of that is we also have to get ourselves. We also have to document processes and make sure that we have documentation and support material that help people where they are in their journeys. Be prepared to take a hold of the information and digest it, able to do something. constructive with it. So um, that's the challenge. And then that's come by budget. There are this misunderstanding of how expensive it can be to get people prepared to leverage tools, processes. Um, and it's the first place where people come when they're looking for how can we, you know, impact our budget, right? Learning and development, those first places. So having those resources, really another area of the case. Personally, um, some of the challenge personally is just wanting understanding. So they want some quick fix. They want, that anybody they can do it. Anybody can do this work. And there's adult learning to it. And so if fairly respect science behind how you make it impactful, you t- value its worth.
That makes sense. I mean, this is very well covered, right? Let's move into our maybe let's try to peel the onion a bit, right? So, how do you see the role of L&D evolving in credit unions? Because credit unions are known for focusing a lot on employee development, right? I mean, especially when my question is, especially when credit unions balance, strengths. I would say balance legacy, right? Balance legacy strengths with demand of the new world, with demand of being digital first, right? So these are very two different polarities. But how
Mhm.
do you see L&D evolving across this spectrum?
I think L&D is going to play a very unique role in the
I'm
future
sure.
of
Sure.
the evolution of credit unions. Primarily, we've been leveraged to get employees ready to talk about our products and service, deliver on the service level employees. I
Yep.
think the way learning and development is going is a catalyst culture. When you think about the component, here is where it play a more role. They're really going to foster uh, and grow culture in ways
Yep.
that the different generations have in the workforce. And so I think a big part of it, I think health employee and how to the needs. So it becomes of a um, curated, visualized service model start to roll out as technology the more uh, task and automates those, then the employee has the ability to then dig deeper and build more type uh, services. So I think that's the role that L&D is going to play. They're really going to help to bridge that gap um, and relation.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, that's very well thought about because this is becoming table stakes going forward. I mean, balancing both of them. Now, continuous learning is not easy. I mean, it's very easy to talk about that. All of us have wonderful policies and slides per se, but implementing on the ground when rubber hits the road, it's not easy, right? So, my question is at SECU, how are you fostering a culture of like what? Continuous learning and development and the adaptability among employees across different generations because I'm very sure you'll have Gen Zs coming onto the workforce. They are very different employees and individuals, right? Vis-a-vis someone who's a boomer, right? So how do you manage this balance?
Very delicate.
Very
it, it takes an approach that has multiple different modalities. You really have to figure out where your audience is and then help them develop where they. So if you think about it, we to get them to continue learning, we have to offer them the opportunity to learn in the way that really speaks preferred modality. So for some of our younger generation, they want to know mobile. They want to be able to 24 hours, 7 days a week at their fingertips, extremely convenient. Maybe for some employees, they very structured. They want it in person. They want it, um, you know, I'm in this way. You have to meet both, and then everything in between. Allowing people to self-select. So we do offer opportunities for people to use different tools and subscriptions that we have available to them as a benefit of employment to be able to develop personal in not only their the requirements, but also in some of those things that they're interested in. If you're interested in something outside the department, and we really try to make sure that learning isn't all about fun. It's about growth. It's about leadership. We do quite a few classes, and they're for people in place without title, but maybe with influence. And so, how do you help them figure out how to navigate staying in an individual contributor role, but taking on? And so, that's continuous learning, helping identify employees that passionate about credit union movement that we have, and then providing them with opportunities to develop, grow, and expand their capacity to not only do their job, be really good and add for our.
I'm sure. So, that's even what I not fierce, even I'm trying to manage how to, how to, work with Gen Zs plus boomers. I mean, across the same spectrum. I completely understand where you're coming from. Right. Now let's look into the future a bit. I mean, I know it's a very broad question, so it can't be answered the best way, but still trying to, right? So, what do you think would be the top, like what, two or three skills that you believe credit union employees will need in the next 5 years? Because it's changing so fast, so rapid. And how are you preparing for it?
So the first, I would say, one of the skills that they need to really start developing early on is agility. It's something that they're going to need able to fit. Uh, they're going to need change on very fast pace. So being agile is going to help them. So there are ways that courses, techniques that really help people uh, pivot very quickly and move with the pace of change that's coming. I think helping them with additional resources is going to be in the organization's best. So if you
Yep.
can help them figure out what those methods are that work for them to be able to accept and adapt, adaptability, agility, those things are going to be extremely important.
Sure.
As you mentioned, AI is, and it's really not, it's only
Yep.
going, the use of it will, and so employees figure out the best ways to utilize, how to interact with AI, and how to value from the things that are available to them while balancing how do we stay safe and secure potential, you know, ill-intended actors out there. So I think realize how to navigate AI, again, in our best interest. And then the third, I would say, really is all about helping our employees. The skill that they're going to need is helping how to include everyone, bring people. So some level of inclusion and building safety, especially for leaders, going to be extremely important. It's how you build sure people understand that where they were placed to bring their, so having some psychological where you're building trust, we're cohesive as a team.
Understand. Mhm.
So those would be my
Those
AI,
would be
agility, and some type of psychological safety building, inclusion, or belonging.
long. Okay. Uh, but now obviously, redialing on or double clicking on AI. Essentially, I mean, AI is transforming the way how we do businesses, right? Across like not only businesses, the way how we think about basic necessities of life. Everything is changing from AI. So how do you approach rescaling employees, right? Because again, there are two aspects of it. One is people who will be users of AI, right? Versus people who will actually go and bring AI to the organizations. Right? So how do you approach reskilling these two different group of employees to still be relevant towards, the deep human connection that we have in credit unions?
That's a great question. Part of that question is the people who will have to interact with AI to prepare AI for use by another audience. I think that's a role L&D is going to play.
Yeah.
And so helping AI learn SECU is going to be a play. How do we do that? I think we have to be sure that we're giving it good data from. So for a lot of organizations, there are massive amount of, I know it is for us. And how do we take that and get it can be ingested by AI and deliver back to AI the same information and service to our employees who are looking at. That's a role we'll. The other part is how do we help our employees understand, engage, making sure that they prompts so that they're asked. Then the third part, making a in the flow. So how do we integrate the other tools available so as they have access to AI as a.
Okay. That's a very to the point answer, but we are still reimagining the way how we will train our workforce to, uh, I would say, not accommodate, but to adapt to this huge change. That's true. I know, we're on top of the RMR, but still, I want to ask you a couple of more questions if you're okay.
Sure.
Uh, my next question is across succession and long-term growth, right? So it's main across strategies, right? So what strategies are you using to identify and nurture future leaders? Because SECU is a large credit union. It's a one of the top three credit unions, right? Huge. Uh, so how are you identifying the next level of leaders, the next future leaders, ensuring succession and long-term growth, because obviously you're poised towards growing, right? So that's very important to identify the right people who can let the credit union grow. So how do you identify, the next set of leaders?
Um, Ways. First, we have a very um, mature workforce. And by that, I mean a lot of good, valuable, experienced employees at SECU who've been doing great work for a long time. And so it's easy to identify them because they have a body of work that is representative of their skill sets and their ability to lead um, in the ways SECU needs them to, right? So we can see that very clearly.
Sure.
Those people are being groomed for leadership, whether it be at SECU or whether it be at taking the leadership of another maybe smaller credit union or different credit union. I would love to see SECU continue to be the organization where other coach talent, because what that are doing a great job preparing them for leadership. So we that the next level of preparation, I believe, for succession comes with identifying um, upcoming talent with our some of our younger professionals and encouraging them, building their confidence. And we do that by one, allowing them to self-select
Yep.
instead of pushing the opportunities may or may not even be interested in, right? So making plenty of opportunity for them to both be identified by peers, but also to self with the interest that they have to say, hey, I would also like that opportunity. And then building plans around helping them realize their full potential at
I mean, no, that's a very noble way of looking at it, that you would want to become the ground where other smaller credit unions poach talent from. That's a very noble way of thinking about it. I haven't heard about this, believe me, from any other leaders have spoken. This is amazing, right? So this talks about the culture of SSCU. I mean, I'm really glad to have spoken with you today. Emma, one last question I want to ask you is measuring L&D, right? That's a question all of us have. That it's not policy or it's not fancy PPTs or slides, but we have to measure the success of L&D programs. I mean, just beyond completion rates, it's not about the completion rates of training programs. So, how do you measure success of L&D programs?
a couple of ways, both um, quantifiable and quantitative. Like we look at mobility. Are our employees equipped and prepared with the skills and the different competencies, the knowledge they need to
Sure.
transition positions throughout? And that those may be lateral positions moving from maybe retail to operations, but they could
Sure.
be promotions, moving to contributors. That's one way that we measure, are we doing a great job? Are we
Yep.
doing other way that we success for our programs is to look at the objectives for some of the work that we have. Specifically for leadership development, what were we trying, what behaviors were we trying to cultivate? And
Yep.
then whether or not people that work with them are being realized. So look what you accomplish particular initiative and was it successful? The third is as new product, new service, are our employees to deliver? We do that a couple of with assessments that really gauge knowledge of the product or service. to say yes, that they're ready. We also do that with service levels. What are the members saying about their experience as we've rolled out these new products and services? So we have a few ways that we look to measure the success of the programs that we do and provide for our employees.
Well, this is great. This was amazing, right? So again, thank you for taking your time out to do this episode with us. We are really grateful for you having to share your nuggets and 3 decades of experience in L&D. This is a brand new, fresh idea that we got. But again, thank you for your time today.
My pleasure.